Hey everyone, hope you can hear me and see me loud and clear. Just wanted to post this video. So I'm your commish, I'm Murph. Thank you so much for joining this league. I didn't think that we would have quite so many people take up on it so quickly, which is fantastic. So I've actually started another league as a result of this. So who knows how many I'll do. Probably won't do like 10 or 12, but if there's two or three, then more than happy to do these. So a little bit about me. I kind of posted this in the chat already, but yeah, so I've been playing fantasy football for about 20 years. I lived in America for a while. It's kind of how I picked it up, and I've always been drawn to the game, especially through just playing with friends, and that's really the kind of point of it. And I get so much joy out of fantasy football, and now I'm able to do this a lot more regularly through podcasts and writing a book and all sorts. And I've met an amazing group of people through playing fantasy football all over these years. And I really want to try and recreate that for others. I know how daunting it is to join a league. I know how daunting it is to get started and to try and find out how to get started, and maybe not having enough friends to play with, or just not having a group of people that seem like a good fit because you haven't got into it and you might have missed the boat. And that's really the purpose of these leagues. Is I see comments all the time of people saying, like, I really want to get into fantasy football, but I don't know how. And that's really the purpose of why I started this. So I don't have a team in the league. I'm going to be completely impartial. I'm going to be a resource available to any and all of you. But really, it's your league. It's not about me. It's not about what I'm going to do. Really, I just want you to kind of view me as a coach slash commissioner to give you a good league experience and to help you kind of like in the crash course of fantasy football. But really, it's down to you to see whether or not you're going to enjoy it. So some tips as to how you enjoy it. First of all, interact a lot. These are your league mates. Your league mates are really what makes your league. I play in leagues all over the world, really. And I play in some very, very big tournaments, and I play in some very, very small leagues. And the ones that determine my favourite leagues are the ones that are the most active with people. And it all comes back to the people you play with. So even though none of you probably know each other, and I don't know any of you all that well either, you reply to a message and I put you in a group. This is a good opportunity to get to know each other. So whether that's through video messages like this, whether that's just through chatting through the group, someone can create a Facebook group, someone can create a WhatsApp group, whatever you guys kind of want to do as a vehicle for this. And it doesn't have to end this season. If you all get on and you're having great competition and you're all at the same sort of level, feel free to continue the league in future years and name it and do all these sorts of things. That's kind of how this becomes a real thing of enjoyment, is through the people you play with. So it's getting to know them, knowing who they support, chatting through news, chatting through teams. And that's kind of why I set this up so early. We're not going to draft for 6-7 months, but there's so many great things you can talk about and get to know each other. Because if you just do a random league where you don't know anyone and it's all random, the commitment to stay with it is kind of difficult if you're not winning. Whereas if you're not having a good start in fantasy football, but one of your quote-unquote rivals or someone you want to take down is in a championship spot, wanting to beat them and wanting to do everything you can to knock them off their perch is just enough to get you through a barren season. And of course, not everyone can win. There will be people that finish last. There'll be people that finish first. A lot of you think you're going to finish last. Only one of you can, the same way only one of you can win. So you all have a very equal chance of winning this at this stage, because there's been no players drafted. There's been nothing settled yet. So you all have the same sort of chance to win this. But it really is about the friendships you strive in this group. And if you all are able to get to know each other and share stories, and eventually you might come up with some traditions, or you might come up with some banter, some videos, some jokes. You might change your team names to reflect other people in the league. All of that is really the kind of fun of this. It's the people you meet when you play this game. Because whether you win a season title or not is fun, and it's a lot of fun. And I play to win a lot of leagues, and I'm lucky enough to have won a lot of leagues over the years. But actually, the leagues are always determined by the people that play in it. And that's really what I want you to get out of this. So get to know each other, get to talk to each other, just have a lot of fun. Talking about Super Bowl, talking about free agency, talking about the draft. We've got loads of really cool league events coming up. Plenty of time to sort out the actual league itself. For those of you that want to know some details on this league, it's a very traditional format. We're going to be playing with 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, 2 flex, a defense and a kicker, and you'll have 6 bench spots. So it'll be a 16-round draft when we do it. We can make a decision whether you want to do it as a quote-unquote live draft, and we have everybody do a draft in one afternoon or one evening, or we can have the opportunity to do this over a slow draft. And that's where people can have a clock of 4 or 8 hours to make a pick. It means the draft is drawn out a little bit longer, but it does mean that people can just pick when they're ready. We can make those decisions down the line. They don't need to be made at any time soon. We're going to be playing what's called 1 point PPR. Now, what that means is your wide receivers will get 1 point for every catch that they make, regardless of how far it is, whether it's -5 yards or 95 yards. So that what it does is it makes the wide receivers a little bit more in line with the running backs. And I'll talk and I'll do some videos on strategy about some tips that will help you get through the draft. And some sort of standard things that you can kind of look for. And it's not really to dictate what you do. It's just more about just kind of, you don't want to make a mistake that can really stop your draft or put you out of contention too early. And that's kind of what I'm going to help avoid by doing some of these sort of coaching videos. I think that's really about it for now. Like I said, get to know each other. It's been doing this for a long time. It is about the people you play with. And if you play with good people, and you get to know each other and you make some really good friendships out of this league could be something that goes on for 5 years, 10 years. It might not, and it might just be a 1 year thing, and then you go and play with other people, both of which is absolutely fine. But really, the point of this is just to have a lot of fun. And for those of you that are looking to get some coaching, to learn how to play the game, I kind of envision this as like a 1 year masterclass, and to have you, by the end of this, being able to play in a multitude of leagues that your friends might be playing in, or people in the community might play in. So whereas I think it probably takes 2 or 3 years to kind of master the game, I'm hoping to try and do this in kind of 1 year for all of you, and that's where my service will be available. Some of you might be skeptical and say, well, why is he doing this? Game fantasy football's been really good to me. Ultimately, like I said, I've made some incredible friends. I've started a podcast as a result of it. I've got to speak to people that I never envisioned I would ever have a conversation with. And I've got a lot of people that do podcasts and are, quite well known in the fantasy football community to have come on and chatted to me and have helped me. And as a result, it's great to be part of some of the great community things that I've been part of. And I fully believe if someone gives you an opportunity to do something good, you have to pay that opportunity back. And that's really what this is. There's no money involved. I'm not asking you, or it'd be great if you do tune into the podcast and get tips. But, at the end of the day, if you don't, I'm not going to be offended or insulted or never talk to you again. That's not what this is about. This is purely about me doing something to share what has been a really good game to me, to all of you, and for you to share some of the things that I've been lucky enough to do. The other things that can make this league fun. Some people in leagues have done league write-ups every week. Some people do a podcast for leagues. Some people do a website and track information. Really, it's your league. You do whatever you want to do to make this a lot of fun. I'm not saying you have to do any of this at all. You might want to keep the interaction minimal and spend more time talking to me, and that's absolutely fine. Your experience is your experience. But, from my personal experience, getting to know your league mates, having the chat, the banter, getting to know each other, taking the mickey out of each other in a friendly way and people's teams, and that they're some of my greatest memories in fantasy football. So pleasure. Thank you for joining this league. any questions, you can get in contact with me through Messenger, which you have done already. And good luck.